thank you so much for joining us here today. And a special thank you to Harrah's Cherokee Center Asheville for giving us this space. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Karine Duncan, who is our Director of Election Services, to give you an update on today's early voting.
Hey everybody, I am glad to see so much interest today. Early voting is off to a great start, as I hope that most of you witnessed today. It's always a first day, the big day is always a first day, but the weather is gorgeous, so that gave us a big bonus today. It's perfect for being out. So we've got 250 poll workers in 2 shifts and a dozen of my staff members making all of this happen today. More than 6,000 voters have already voted early since opening at 8 o'clock this morning. That's 1,000 voters an hour. Many locations do have long lines today, and they look even longer with social distancing. But right now, most of our sites have less than 20 voters in line. Some are much busier than others, so make sure that you use the wait map on our website to find the location with the least number of people in line. The early voting schedule runs today through the 31st. Buncombe County has 16 sites, and you can find those at our website at buncombecounty.org/vote or by calling our office at 828-250-4200. Weekday early voting hours are uniform across the state from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And in Buncombe, our weekend hours are 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., both Saturdays and Sundays, with extended hours on Halloween. That's the last Saturday from 8 to 3. During early voting, you can choose any location that's convenient to you. And as mentioned earlier, use our wait map to help you decide. If you've not yet registered, early voting is your last chance to do so. You'll need to bring proof of residency with you. If you've already registered, you only need yourself and a sample ballot if it helps you. We strongly encourage masks. All in-person voting, whether election day or early voting, will follow the COVID-19 precautions. For a voter entering the voting location, you'll be greeted by a greeter who will have hand sanitizer available to you. If you don't have a mask, you'll be offered one and strongly encouraged to wear it. And you'll be given a single-use pen to take with you through the process. When you go to the check-in station, the check-in person will be there also in full PPE, gloves, masks. There's also a plexiglass shield there to have a barrier between the voter and the poll worker. Once the voter has gone through the process, received their ballot, then they will go to a voting booth that has been cleaned between every single voter, and then move on through the process. So that's what you'll see when you go to a voting location as far as PPE and COVID precautions, and that will happen at every single site, early voting and election day. Now, since there's so much interest in absentee by mail, I have some numbers for you. In 2016, we had over 7,500 requests, just a little over that. To date, our office has more than 51,000 requests. We had a backlog, and I'm happy to report that we don't have a backlog anymore. It took a team of 10 full-time, 35 part-time, and 50 volunteers working overtime and night shift and weekends to accomplish this. Requests are now being processed daily, and of those 51,000 requests, we've received 21,000 ballots back. Compare that to 2016, where for the total election, we had only over 5,700 ballots returned. There's still time to request an absentee by mail ballot. The deadline is the 27th, but we encourage you very much to request as soon as possible so that you can get that ballot back to us by election day. If you mail in your ballot, make sure that it's postmarked by election day. And we're also accepting absentee ballots in person at our office and at all early voting locations. Well, that's what I have for you, prepared for you today. Thank you. And before I take questions, I also wanted to make sure that we thanked Harris Cherokee Center for giving us this platform today.
All right, before we go and visit the voting location, are there any questions that we can answer today? Daniel?
You mentioned that you now no longer have the backlog for processing absentee ballot requests. Is it also still true that you're doing daily maintenance on the ballots you receive? That if somebody sends it in to you, you get it, it's processed within the next?
That's correct. That's correct. So we're up to date on the requests and the ballots that we receive every single day. So that's a daily process. There's a lot involved in the process, so it still takes a 3-day turnaround to get your ballot out. But yeah, we're doing everything daily, which is fantastic.
I know that you have the wait time mapped up for all of the polling locations. Is there a place where that data is stored or kept on some kind of daily basis so that after the fact, one can go back and see what the average wait time was at different locations?
So the question is, there is a wait time map that's online and accessible. Is there a location online where people can access the wait times, go back and visit it per location? Karine?
Yes, so in Buncombe County, that is a custom platform that we have developed. We started in 2016, and it was a fantastic addition to our process. And it's evolved over the years, and now we take that data and we use it to help us decide hours and all sorts of things. So yes, we have that data available. That's correct, yes, you'd have to request it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can you guys go over, kind of just reiterate the rules for the witness signature part? I know that some things have kind of changed, a lot back and forth on this. Can you just kind of let us know exactly what the rules are as of today on that?
Great. Karine, can you let us know the rules on the witness signature process?
So a witness is required for submitting an absentee by mail ballot, and the witness will need to make sure that they sign, that they write their name, they print their name, and that they submit their address. And the ruling that came out today was more about deficiencies. What happens when any of those things are not adhered to? And the guidance that we have from the state board is that they will issue us official guidance on Saturday. So that will help counties across the state make sure that they stay uniform, and that ballots that have the witness deficiency will be spoiled and have a reissue of a ballot rather than going through the affidavit process.
What additional questions do we have?
Speaking about those legal back and forth, what's the status of the deadline for absentee by mail? And is it 3 days after, 9 days after, but the law says 3 days?
So what is the deadline for absentee by mail?
Part of the law change was switching the deadline from November 3rd, November 6th, which is 3 days after the election, that's the Friday following, to 9 days after. And so far, as long as litigation doesn't change, it will be changed to the 9 days after, and that will become official hopefully on Saturday. But it still has to be postmarked on election day. That's very important. If we receive a ballot that doesn't have a postmark, we can't do anything about it. We have to either receive it physically in our office by 5 p.m. on election day or have that postmark.
Any additional questions? Great. What we'll do is we will exit through these doors at the front. Karine will take us into the polling location. where you can get footage, B-roll of people going through the voting process. We can't show any identifying information. I shared with you all of the protocols from the state, which we have to adhere to. You can leave your items in here and we can come back in and collect them, so you just have to carry your cameras if that makes it easier. Any individual who is voting who you would like to interview must give you permission for that. Candidates you do not need to get permission from the chief judge to interview any candidate, okay?
But interviews have to happen outside.
Interviews must happen outside, which we've got great space. So thank you very much. We appreciate y'all for being here. I'm Lillian Govis, and let's go see some voting.